I'm going to do a clap so I can sync all of them now in the editing room.
You've done it.
It's done. Hard part's over.
What's up, comic fans out there? I'm Jordan the Max Extreme.
And I'm Ghost Hunter Dave.
And this is IMPERIUS REX. And this early on to the show, it's just we should do what DC does, reboot right away.
Theme song!
So what's up, everybody, comic fans out there? As you know, this is IMPERIUS REX, a show where we tell you everything you want to know but didn't want to know about comic books.
Didn't know you wanted to know.
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah.
What did I say?
It's already confusing saying it right. I can't possibly
Playback!
go back in time. Oh, man. Last week and 2 weeks prior, 3 weeks total, we did a bit of a Grant Morrison trilogy.
Yep.
And we just took a deep dive into Multiversity, backtrack to Final Crisis, backtrack to Seven Soldiers, except we did them in reverse, so it's the opposite of that. And I imagine anyone just tuning in for the first time, you know, they're like, oh, comic show. Oh, Troy, I know him.
Look at him!
I know him from high school. Let's see what he's up to. And then they watch the inaugural show.
And immediately hated it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what comics are today? No
Ooh.
thanks. I can't even listen to this.
No.
Not that we think everybody's like that, but...
No. But to the average viewer, it might have been a little too much too soon.
We need to get on the level, is
Yes.
what you're saying.
We need to be more reader-friendly, more get the new readers in the building. Not my building, of course. We're gonna be cleaning all this up, and the whole studio actually is kind of in disarray at the moment because we're prepping for the reboot, you know, just
Right.
switching things up, or we're installing a sub pump.
So what we're gonna do is start at issue number 1 again.
Yes.
A brand new issue number 1.
No. Damn it.
Damn it.
IMPERIUS REX, number 1.
Yep.
Coming at you right now.
So what we're gonna do in this episode is kind of start out with like an intro to comics.
We're gonna back up. If you're a new reader, and you didn't listen to any of that, that's fine. Just
Great.
jump in now.
Listen to it in like 5 years.
Yep. Yeah.
Or 1 year.
Or, you know.
Or not at all.
Skip it all
Doesn't
together.
matter. Do what you want. It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
your life. You have a lot of scribbles on that.
I know, I have them really in no discernible order. So, rather than just diving right in, I figure it's a good idea to kind of set some ground rules, some expectations of what the average viewer can, you know, look forward to and expect out of the show and what
Sure.
we produce. So I've listed a couple here. First one, we're going to try to be more funny.
That was my attempt.
Second one, it kind of goes hand in hand with this double-edged sword. We're going to try to laugh less at our own jokes.
Nope, can't do that. Cross that one off.
All right,
I
that
love
one's
my
gone.
own jokes.
All right, next, learn the lyrics to more songs. Just a personal resolution for myself.
Very good. I'll be on that one too.
All right. Maybe get some guests. Maybe we'll get some guests on the show.
That'd be fun.
There's a couple people I have in mind. I'm not going to talk about them right now, which makes bringing it up completely pointless right now. Next one, be less drunk. We'll see how that goes. No promises.
Nope.
Wear shoes, because as I was editing this, seeing our socks come into frame all the time was really distracting.
See, does not have shoes on.
And then, of course, be a little bit more new reader friendly. Any comic book can be someone's first comic book. So, we're going crazy, we're rolling right in. We've been reading them.
Stan Lee saying, everyone's comic is everyone's first, or someone's first comic.
No, I just said it.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Already.
All right. So, you know, we're gonna use this episode as kind of a jumping on point. So if you're willing to dip your toe into the comic book waters and you have no idea where to go, there's so much out there. It's popular right now.
Yep.
But where do you start? Well, Troy, we know exactly where to start.
Here, watching
Yes.
this show.
All right. That'll do
Done it.
I was gonna say like a comic book store, Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Stock trades, anything. Wonderful places. But this episode, we're going to give you kind of a rundown of maybe some top 5 or 10 recommendations on where a new reader wanting to kind of get a taste of what's out there, what's good, what's different from the typical superhero fare can enjoy. And then to stay timely, as we promised, maybe we'll chat a little bit about...
what got us into comics, maybe.
It's not what I was going to say, but we can sidetrack a bit, do that. Didn't really prepare anything, but got all these notes on other things. But, why not? So, you're getting into comics.
Yeah.
Here's a couple suggestions from myself. First one is a horror fantasy series called Lock and Key, which is one of my favorite comics, graphic novels of all time.
Yeah.
And it's written by Joe Hill and illustrated by Gabriel Rodriguez.
Yep.
And they're the team for it for the entire run. It goes for 6 books, 6 trades, hardcovers. The basic setup is a family loses their father, and then they end up moving back to their family home in Massachusetts. They get to this old, creepy, mansion that they live in.
Yep.
And find all of these keys located throughout the mansion. Each one goes to a different door, and then when they step through it, it has some kind of supernatural power.
Yeah.
Where one door, like, if you use the death key on it, you step through the door, and you fall over dead, and then your spirit can go and roam the area.
Yeah.
And then there's there's keys that change their sex, there's keys that grant them wings, keys that remove fear. And the whole story follows this family, mainly like the 3 kids, siblings, as they're just kind of discovering all these, and then there's a antagonist too that's trying to get the keys for their own purposes. It sounds a little fantastical, like Harry Potter-esque, but it is a dark series. It's mature. It has a lot of violence in it.
Yeah. Lock and Key's really good.
Very good. It was one of those that I read. I picked it up right when it started, just kind of on a whim. I like the art a lot. The art is fantastic through the entire book.
It's super clean, and it's consistent, too.
But yeah, I read it from the beginning, always read it as it came out, and then when the last trade came out, it sat on my shelf forever because I knew it was the end. I didn't want it to end, and I was really afraid that it wouldn't stick the ending. And I've loved it so far. Finally, about a year ago, I read the whole thing all the way through again. Phenomenal ending. One of the few series of anything I enjoy where I feel like it was fantastic the entire way through.
Yeah.
And it didn't falter a step at the ending.
No.
So all the credit in the world to the Lock and Key team. It's an amazing read.
Another one I would suggest that's not your standard superhero fare, Why the Last Man is really good. It's a little bit longer of a run. It's by Brian K. Vaughan, who writes a lot of my favorite stuff. And Pia Guerrera is who it is. And it's actually a female artist that does it, which is actually very good for that series because...
Yeah. I was gonna say, where are you going with this? You're gonna offend somebody.
No. But
you better explain what the series is.
The series is that there's some virus that is spread throughout the entire world that kills everything with a Y chromosome, except for Yorick, the main character of the book, and his pet monkey.
Ampersand.
Yeah.
And what does ampersand mean?
And?
Yeah. So it's Yorick and.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, I thought it was worth mentioning. I guess not.
Well, there you go.
All right.
What would happen if more than half the population of the whole Earth just is wiped out, and all you have is just the women left? And it's quite a ride he goes on. It's very emotional. It's one of the only books that I've ever actually cried at a point in it. Yeah. I need to drink more beer to sound tough.
I love it. I named my first child. His middle name is Yorick off of that series. So
it's one of my favorite. And it's not your as I said, it's not a superhero book or anything. It's just like an odd kind of sci-fi book, but it's not like
it's like a Twilight Zone episode concept.
Yeah.
The next book we talked about a horror. We talked about kind of a drama. I'm gonna steal one from you, which I also picked. We both love it. It's great. Everything on here we both like.
Yeah.
But it's as superhero-y as you can get without being any pre-established superhero character.
Yeah.
And it's the book Invincible by author Robert Kirkman, Cory Walker, and Ryan Ottley.
Cory Walker started the series, and then around issue 12, I think, Ryan Ottley takes over.
Yeah.
And he's been the artist since.
Yeah. The author also did Walking Dead, which everybody knows about.
Yeah.
This was a book he started right about the same time, and they've been going, hand in hand with each other.
Yep.
Like, they're both in about 150 or so.
Yeah.
It's just this sprawling, ongoing superhero story. I don't even know what I would compare it to. Like, it's just nonstop, like, breakneck pace.
Yeah.
The stuff that happens in this book is insane. It's never dull.
No. And whereas, like, it does play with the superhero genre, and it plays on every trope of the superhero genre as well. And it does it perfectly. Like, it does, like, huge galactic spanning events. And it does, like, the newest arc that just came out, they're doing the whole reboot. Yeah, thing.
It's a good idea, right? Stuff.
At, like, around, like, issue 50, he does, like, the costume change. And it's darker or whatever and grittier.
Yep. So there's all these kind of nice nods to comic book fans that can kind of pick up on this. But if you're a new reader, it might be over your head, but you're not missing anything.
No,
it doesn't hurt the story. The story is very, very accessible, very fun, very light, but it carries a lot of weight. There's a lot of emotional connection to the characters because you become attached to them as the series goes on and on and on. And it's just one of those that, like, I can't ever see it really stopping because the whole point of it is just to kind of follow this up-and-coming hero through his entire life.
Yeah.
Where he eventually, like, marries his girlfriend, has a kid, does all this stuff. And it just keeps going. Kind of like Walking Dead. It's a zombie movie that never ends. This is kind of like the superhero book that never ends. Yeah. And that might sound daunting. So, I mean, if you want a superhero book, this is the one to go to. But don't just jump in, like, halfway through. Read it from the beginning.
Read it from the beginning. Another one to stay on, like, maybe a superhero kick. Ultimate Spider-Man is another one to pick up. Ultimate Spider-Man is kind of started the Ultimate line that's now done in Marvel Comics, but it starts with Peter Parker getting his powers and going through his whole life, and it went through like 26 or 27 trades of Peter Parker, and then it's probably common knowledge now that Miles Morales takes over as the Spider-Man later on.
Absolutely common knowledge.
I would think so. Like, that was a huge deal for not that long.
It's not, but I mean,
whatever. It takes all of Spider-Man's continuity from, the Spider-Man that was created in the 60s and just kind of trims the fat and just, like, does a clean slate, starts over from zero.
Sets it in the current timeline.
And sets it in a modern timeline and just goes on from there. And it's consistent. Like, it has one of the longest artist and writer combos.
Yeah, Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley did about 134 issues,
something like that, and even the artist that takes over after him is still phenomenal, and it's good. It's one of my favorite reads. Like, I'm sad to see the Ultimate Universe is done. Yeah, especially for that book.
Another Marvel book, Ultimate Spider-Man was Marvel. Here's a Marvel book which is Marvel's take on DC characters. Mm-hmm. It is called Supreme Power, and it's written by J. Michael Straczynski with art by
Gary Frank.
But it ran for, I think, 3 trades, about 18 issues or so, and it's basically a mature telling. It's part of the Marvel Max line. Yeah. Of, like, the Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, Aquaman origin, but using different characters because Marvel doesn't have the rights to those DC characters. Yep. It's kind of like how Alan Moore did Watchmen using Charleston characters that he couldn't officially use. Yeah. So Marvel tells them they do like a very realistic scenario of like what would happen if a Superman came to the world and was raised by the government rather than like a kindly Kansas couple. Yeah. And they just do these little twists on characters that you're familiar with, and then the whole book is nothing but setup. It's all like watching these characters kind of come to the place that we think of them as in the current like DC continuity. Yep. And it's some of the best takes on Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and all these characters, but kind of through a different lens. Yep. And it's just really good. It's another one that kind of when I was getting back into comics, I don't even know what drew me to it. Maybe it was the art, because the artwork's phenomenal.
Yeah, Gary Frank is really good.
Yeah, but I picked it up and was like, oh my god, this is good. Like, I really like Hyperion more than I like Superman.
Yeah.
And then I grew up and realized, no, I don't. But it's really good. Another one for me, and this is a very sharp departure from some of the other stuff. A book called Day Tripper by Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba, two Brazilian artist-writer brothers who just crafted this really unique, original story about a young man in Brazil. It's a 12-issue run, and every issue, it shows him at a different point in his life. So one issue he might be 6 years old, the other one he might be 27, another one he might be 50. But every issue ends with him dying at the end. And you're reading this, and you're thinking, like, where is this going? But it's just kind of this really weird existential take on the fact that, you know, people could die at any moment.
Okay.
And it's like what they do in their life and the impact they have that really makes, you know, everything all worthwhile. And I could get like emotional with it here, but like as I was reading it, it was one of those books I always heard was good. I really like the artwork from these guys. They've done some stuff that I've read like in Hellboy and BPRD. So I picked it up, just kind of started reading through it, was really hooked by it. Every issue is just kind of like this snapshot into just a life that could be anybody's. Like, it's very relatable. And I remember I was reading it and I was finishing the book in bed and my wife was sleeping next to me and I was turning the page and it was just getting like, it was building up the emotions there. And I remember like reading it and like getting down there and just thinking like, oh God, like don't go any further with this. Like, I'm gonna start weeping in front of my wife if it keeps going on this track. And I'd turn it and just be like...
Awesome.
But it's so good. It tells a great story of like a father-son connection. And I have a father, most people do. I have 2 sons now too.
Yeah.
So it really, like, it hit a chord for me. It was very emotionally resonant. And I would think that it would probably appeal to just about anybody. No superheroics, no fantasy, so to speak. Just a very, like, real story of life and death and meaning in the universe.
Awesome. The last one I have is more superhero stuff. If you want to get into, like, a really good run of stuff that's, like, somewhat current... It's hard to say that now because DC is doing a whole relaunch of their whole line and stuff.
Oh, are they?
Again.
Reboot!
But, Scott Snyder's and Greg Capullo's Batman run is one of the best things of New 52.
Absolutely. I was actually thinking we should do an episode on the now defunct New 52.
Yeah, we could.
On, like, top 5 best titles from New 52.
Yeah, we could do that.
Because despite a lot of the backlash it got, a lot like Marvel's Ultimate Universe, a lot of really, really good stuff came out of it.
Yeah, and I would agree.
People are very quick to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, no, there's a baby in there. Don't throw that out.
Of course.
There's some great, great stuff. And I'm not going to steal your thunder as this is your topic here, but I think Snyder's Batman is one of the best takes on Batman.
Yeah. And we'll probably do another episode in the future about just his run in general. But
we will.
But yeah, it because Batman was selling so well when they relaunched to the New 52, you can kind of take his past adventures as somewhat canon.
Yeah, well, the New 52 started everything at one. They said nothing came before this except Batman.
And Green Lantern.
Yes.
Because that was selling hot at the time, too.
Yep. So Batman's whole past was kind of meshed into a 5-year span.
Yeah.
Like, he's been acting as Batman 5 years prior to issue 1.
Yeah.
And boy, did a lot happen in those 5 years.
Yeah, sure.
Almost 75 years worth of material.
But the first run is phenomenal, and every run after that has just been great. And it's been like the flagship title, I would say, for DC. Because Batman's a cool character.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't go wrong with Snyder at the helm. That was great.
And Capullo was known at that time, and I mean, he was most well known for his Spawn.
Yeah,
He did art for Spawn for a long
100-issue
time.
run or Spawn, whatever.
And man, he does a great Batman.
Oh
like
my God.
Spawn's whole draw is he's very imposing and creepy looking with the
Yeah.
cape and the shadows. And it's like, well, yeah, that's Batman.
Yeah.
You know, like that's his take on
Yeah.
Batman. This imposing, terrifying figure.
Yeah, just this solid wall
Yes.
of Batman. Yeah.
Yep. And it doesn't hurt that the first episode, if only, first issue is very horror-centric.
Yeah.
Snyder's writing in general is very horror-centric,
Yeah.
which is it's a good mesh for Batman.
Yeah.
You don't always go that. Sometimes they up the superheroics of it, but Batman's a good shadowy figure.
Yeah.
He works good with like a horror theme.
Yep.
And man, Capullo plays it up.
Oh, yeah.
The first arc, Court of Owls, is the best Batman movie that they haven't made yet.
Yeah.
For anyone that knows of Batman, obviously everybody knows Batman.
Yeah.
But like you haven't had years of comic reading to fill you in on his backstory or previous plot lines, this is a great jumping on point
Yep.
for new readers where it's like, yes, he's Batman, he's been around for a while, he's got his villains, here's a new threat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
man, it's good. I don't think he ever tops the first arc. But
No.
it's consistently good throughout.
Yep, it is. Well, those are some very fine suggestions of everything to get you started. And so, with that said, did you want to add anything else to this?
Just that I've been on some cold medicine tonight, so I apologize to our viewers
Perfect.
if I'm squeakier or raspier or whatever.
You forgot nasalier.
Nasalier. So that should probably do it for this show. I mean, that was a lot. Felt like an hour and a half.
Who knows how
it's
long
gonna feel
we
longer
went.
than that in the editing room. We were gonna talk about Batman vs Superman, which is coming out probably right around the time this is gonna go live on YouTube.
Oh, baby.
I'm gonna push it out live, like a live birth in a bathtub, which we won't throw out.
Thank you.
Yes.
But yeah.
Weird segue.
Yeah, it is. But we were going to do best Batman, Superman team-ups, or maybe not team-ups, because of the impending Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice movie coming out.
But no, we're not.
But we've gone on long enough. Just go see the movie and comment down below what you thought of the movie, and we'll make sure to read them and probably bring it up on a future episode.
Yeah, comment. We'd love to. I had this joke.
Oh yeah,
I wrote it here.
You should read it.
I will. Hang on. Maybe I'll go back and edit this into the beginning so it doesn't sound like we're just total idiots. No, that's not it. Here we go. All right, let's pretend we're at the beginning of the show.
Great.
All right, ready?
Welcome everybody.
No, go in. No.
Oh, sorry.
So, no, hang on. Let me think how to phrase this up.
All right.
So we're doing a reboot based
Sure.
on viewer feedback, of which there was none.
Yep.
We decided to retool a bit. That's all I got.
That was not a joke.
Well, not a traditional joke. It wasn't like a knock-knock.
Oh, that's what I'm going to get later.
No, that was a joke. That was it. That's all I got.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway.
It's gonna go great at the beginning. And it's such a strong end, I might keep it there too.
Well, anyway, that's the show for this week. Catch us next week when we'll be talking about Hellboy. So, watch the movies, do whatever you want, read the wiki. But join us
Or read the fucking comic, you dipshit.
Or read the comic,
I'm sorry, that was
dipshit.
uncalled for. We didn't swear at all this episode. I thought I'd just blast it out in just a scatter shot at the end. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, join us next week where we talk about Hellboy. Don't be late.
We'll keep a light on for you. All right.